Well, thank you very much, Chair Murkowski, and welcome, Secretary Burgum. Mr. Secretary, I am just astonished, and not in a good way, by all we have seen over the last 4 months at the Interior Department. Coming into this second Trump administration, I feared that Interior would open up more lands to drilling and mining, deepening our addiction to fossil fuels, and ignoring the growing impact of climate chaos. And of course, that chaos has huge consequences for the health of our public lands. And that fear was justified. Despite the U.S. operating at an all-time high for energy production and more than 19 million leased acres sitting idle across the country, that's 46% of the onshore acres and 79% of the offshore acres, yet the administration lied to the American people and declared a bogus energy emergency. And now you're expediting fossil fuel permitting and dropping protections for vast swaths of public lands while restricting renewable energy production. You don't have an all-the-above energy policy, you have a fossils above all policy, and one that hurts our future. I also feared that a second Trump administration would undermine the Endangered Species Act in order to pave the way for industry and developers to not have to be bothered by protecting species on the brink of extinction or the health of their ecosystems. And right on time, the Department proposed a change to the Endangered Species Act declaring that habitat destruction doesn't count when it comes to harming species. But Mr. Secretary, I never expected to see, not even for a second, an administration that would fire or push out under threat hundreds of dedicated public lands employees, including firefighters and park rangers, who keep us safe and protect our national treasures. I never expected to see an administration openly propose to offload vast numbers of national park sites onto the states, fracturing our treasured system with an eye on profit rather than preserving our collective heritage. I never expected to see an administration brazenly violate bipartisan congressional direction written into law by holding back funds for state and tribal historic preservation offices, national heritage areas, international anti-poaching groups, and volunteer trail groups. I never expect to see an administration that would callously propose to forsake our treaty and trust responsibilities to sovereign tribal nations. In your confirmation hearing, you said how proud you were, as governor, of the strong partnership you had with tribes in North Dakota. We don't have to wonder what tribes think today about your proposal to cut core tribal programs for road maintenance, for public safety, for social services, and other vital services nearly in half, or cut tribal school administration by 80% in a system with a $1 billion in deferred maintenance and dozens of schools in desperate condition. A broad coalition of organizations from across Indian country serving tribal nationals and tribal citizens sent you a letter on April 11th calling these cuts absolutely unacceptable and that they, quote, undermine the sacred promises made by the United States to tribal nations. Madam Chair, I'd like to submit that letter for the record.
Without objection.
I never expected to see an administration delay funding for wildfire preparedness and fire red card employees who are trained to fight wildfires, or try to end air and smoke monitoring in national parks as we enter wildfire season. And here we are on the brink of another fire season. You have left us less prepared. Safeguarding endangered species and ecosystems, preserving public lands, supporting tribal nations, protecting against wildfires are fundamental responsibilities of the Department. For the Trump administration, however, it's clear that none of that is sacred. President Franklin Delano Roosevelt said, "There is nothing so American as our national parks. The country belongs to the people." And the environmentalist and novelist Wallace Stenger said, "National parks are the best idea we ever had." If creating the national park system was the best idea we've had, this administration's assault on the national park system is one of the worst. Parks bind us together as a nation. They are shared natural wonders open to all. Parks preserve and show us our shared history, places where we can take pride in what happened there, and places where we can learn how to live up to our ideals. Congress created nearly every national park site by law, not just our crown jewels, but each of the park sites, including sites that aren't part of the capital N, capital P system, like the Oregon Caves system in Oregon. They all deserve recognition. Each location is special and part of our national story. But this administration wants to strip down the national park system and hand out the parts. Mr. Secretary, you like to talk about unleashing America's balance sheet, focusing on the mining and exploitation profit potential of our public lands. But accounting for the value of public lands is not as simple as a business spreadsheet. How do you value recharging one's soul on the rim of the Grand Canyon? How do you measure the value of a fourth grader gasping in awe at the unspoiled natural wonder of Crater Lake in Oregon? Or of an adult who watched civil rights marches on TV in the 60s, walking across the Edmund Pettus Bridge in Selma, Alabama, and reliving the fight for racial equality and remembering Bloody Sunday, 1965. This administration talks about public lands like they're just a transaction, available for wheeling trade or for sale. But they are not just a transaction. They are part of the soul of this nation. They are to be celebrated, protected, and passed on to the next generation and the generation after. Our national park sites, our national wildlife refuges, our national landscape conservation system belong to the American people. They are not for sale. So today I'll try to dive deeper into the shocking strategy of selling off America's treasures, destroying endangered species and ecosystems, walking away from our responsibility to the tribes, and the effort to fire dedicated professional federal workers and to freeze funding for parks, nonprofits, and most dangerously, wildfire preparedness. I look forward to the discussion. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator Merkley. Mr. Secretary, again, welcome to the committee. You have 5 minutes to give us a little bit of the outline here. Your full statement, of course, is included as part of the record, and we look forward to the exchange with members at the conclusion.